Welcome back to Swamp Donkey Radio, but today we are in the bonus. This is an NBA episode of Swamp Donkey Radio. I am Lorenzo, joined, as always, by producer Ronnie. Ronnie, hello. Welcome to your new chair.
What's up? This is a cool chair.
This is a cool chair. Today we're going to be going through every NBA team and telling you how they can win the title this year, and if they can, or where I think they're going to lose. So let's start off with the team I'm most excited to talk about, OKC. They swept the Pelicans in the first round. No Zion Williamson, but I think it was the second most impressive first round win, only behind the Timberwolves. They shot a league-leading 39% from three-point range this season. So if you're an OKC fan and you're sitting there and you're wondering how is my team going to win an NBA title? It's because they can shoot the ball better than anyone else in the league. The Celtics were number 2, only behind OKC. I feel like the collective reason we've all decided they can't win a title is because they're young. And I've noticed this thing in basketball where it's every team needs to have something wrong with them. And OKC is maybe the best basketball team in the West. They were the 1 seed, and they've been the most consistent team all season long. But because they're young and inexperienced, we're going to hold that against them. And I do think that is a valid critique, because it's not often that a young team or a team led by a bunch of guys in under 25, 26 years old is able to go win a title their first try around. So I do think it's valid, and a lot of people question their depth. They have Chet Holmgren at center. I think he played 82 games this season.
I think so too.
I think he played all 82 games. So that's impressive. And he is kind of their only big man in their rotation. So once you run into a team like Minnesota or Denver, whoever wins that series, if they're able to get out of the second round, that is a valid concern. Like, how is he going to match up against a Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, or a Jokic for 7 games? I get the concern. But this OKC team is so fun. They're so nasty. I love Lou Dort. He's one of my favorite players in the league. He locks up with the best of them. He's really good. I think this is going to be a come-out party for Jalen Williams. If OKC is able to win the title, it is because Shea is the most consistent player in the league, as he'll tell you. And Jalen Williams is going to not only step up his scoring, which he has this playoffs and this season, he'll also be able to lock up with Lou Dort, and they'll be able to throw 2 guys with length, speed, and consistent defense against guys like Luka, against guys like Ant, against if they make it to the finals, if they play anyone from the East. They have guys who can guard your best player, and they have multiple of them. So I really like this team. I think they're deep. I think they're good. If you're an OKC fan, I think you should believe your team should win the title. I feel like everyone views it as Minnesota, Boston, Denver, OKC. And in my opinion, it's Minnesota, Boston, Denver, OKC in the same group. I think OKC could easily win the West. I love their core. If they don't win it all, because they're young. But I think the reason to believe is they've been the best team in the West all year. So why not now?
This is the first time they won a series since like 2016 or something like that.
It's been a while. Yeah. And I was on OKC at the beginning of the season. I thought they were going to make the jump. I believe they made the play-in last year. I thought they were going to make the jump this year. I didn't expect Shea to be this good, if I'm being honest. I didn't expect Jay Williams to be this good either. They got 2 of them. I'm talking about the one who scores a lot. And I didn't know they had this much depth. I wish they did more at the deadline, if I'm being honest. I wish they went out and got a guy like Gafford or someone else. But I like this team a lot. They're really good. That's the reason they're going to win. They've been good all year.
Just wait until KD's there next year.
Oh. Durant back to OKC. All right, I'm making a prediction on this next one. I think this is the team they're going to play as of today, Friday, May 3rd. It's Game 6 between the Clippers and the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are going to win that series. Dallas has been my fun NBA Finals prediction since the trade deadline. I love what the Mavericks did at the trade deadline. I love that they brought in the length of PJ Washington. They added Daniel Gafford. Lively's been awesome for them all season long. I like that they got length and defense and shooters around Kyrie and Luka right now. And if you're a Mavs fan and you're wondering, hey, what's the reason our team can win the NBA title? It's not often that you can say our 2 guys can outplay your best 2 guys.
Yeah.
And the Mavericks can. And that's kind of just the start of any conversation in basketball was who has the best player in the series. Outside of maybe Jokic, you could say Luka is the best player in every series.
Yeah.
And that's a huge starting point. And then you go down and say, hey, let's draft a series. Most teams, you're going to start taking Kyrie 3 or 4 in that series, or even 2, depending on who you're playing. Kyrie, this version of Kyrie has been my favorite version of Kyrie to watch. He was my favorite player as a kid. Then he went to the Celtics, kind of went on his villain arc. But this version of him right now, not only is he doing what Kyrie does and just making the most impossible shots ever, he's playing defense and he cares. Like in the Game 5 win against the Clippers, I think they were up 18. He got an and one. He's on the floor screaming. He's locking up James Harden full court. I love it. This version of Kyrie has kind of carried the Mavericks to this point because I think Luka even said it himself in a post-game press conference. He's like, I haven't played to the best of my abilities. He's dealing with a bit of a knee injury. But the defense around those guys and the shot making, you got Maxi Kleber hitting literally every corner shot. You got PJ Washington hitting a bunch of shots. There's a bunch of guys on this team who can shoot now. They can play defense. They play fast, which I really like against some of the teams like Minnesota or Denver. You don't let them get set in a half-court offense. They're able to push the ball. I like this team a lot. So if you're a Mavericks fan, you should be like, hey, the reason we're going to win is because we have Luka Doncic and we have Kyrie Irving and we had the best trade deadline of anyone in the league because Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington have been great additions to them.
Yeah.
So I really like this Mavericks team. I will say I have been incredibly impressed by Terrence Mann's defense on Luka. That does concern me a little bit if his knee is an actual injury and they get into a series against OKC where they got guys like I said, Lou Dort, Jay Williams, a lot of guys who can guard him. So you got to continue to have Kyrie perform as he's performed. And Kyrie has reached that stage for me where every time he shoots the ball, I think it's going in.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a little bit of concern for me is how healthy is Luka's knee? Is he able to carry a team deep if he's a little banged up? I think he's fine, but if I had to poke one hole in him, that would be it. But if you're a Mavericks fan, there's a lot of reason to believe that your team could win the NBA title. Let's talk about the Nuggets. Now, this can be fast. They absolutely whomped Ronnie's Lakers, but not really is the interesting thing. You would think they did, but they didn't really do it. They trailed most of the series.
They kind of just didn't play for real until the fourth quarter.
There's this thing in sports where once you win, you have this aura about you that you can't lose.
You just know how to win.
You just know how to win. And it's crazy and it's weird to think, but it's a very valid point. When you haven't won, people are like, do they know how to win? The Nuggets now know how to win. So if they're down by 15 in the third quarter, I think they're going to come back. If they're up by 15 at halftime, I think the game's over. They've reached that stage. Jamal Murray of the 2 game winners against the Lakers, which is crazy. He is maybe the coldest dude in the league. Like he's going to hit every game-winning shot. He's just like that. I am worried about their injuries. KCP rolled his ankle pretty bad against the Lakers. Jamal Murray of a calf strain. They're both going to be fine. They're both going to play. But that is the big concern with Denver, if you have one, is their depth. I like Peyton Watson off the bench, but they don't have as much depth as they did last year. Bruce Brown was awesome for them. Now, I think this team is my favorite to win the championship again. Their starting 5, I think, is the best in the NBA when fully healthy. They, of any 5-man combo in the league, they played the most minutes in the regular season, which just is consistency and routine, which is really important. I think you see that a lot when it's the Jokic Murray pick and roll to Gordon dunk. It's like, oh, they've run this play a billion times. They know how to do it. So that's really impressive. Aaron Gordon has become one of my favorite players in the league. I think his defense is incredibly underrated for that team because you can put him on. I think he was guarding LeBron most of the series, and LeBron had a good series, but that's a tough matchup to get by. He can lock down anyone. And I think when they play the Timberwolves, the Aaron Gordon, Karl Anthony Towns matchup, in my opinion, is going to swing the series. If Karl Anthony Towns performs against Aaron Gordon, I like the Timberwolves. If Aaron Gordon does what Aaron Gordon's been doing, I like the Nuggets. And it's rare to have a guy that you can throw on Karl Anthony Towns. It's kind of like got the length and size to guard him.
You think he has the length and size to guard him?
We're going to find out. I think size, probably not, but is Karl Anthony Towns going to get locked up by Aaron Gordon? Is Aaron Gordon able to kind of bring the pressure to him? We're going to find. I think that swings the series. Who's guarding? Is Aaron Gordon on Karl Anthony Towns? Probably in that starting 5.
Maybe
because Jokic is going to end up on Gobert. You're not having Jokic out in the paint on the 3-point line against Karl Anthony Towns. So spacing-wise, you'd have to bring Aaron Gordon out from down low, which opens up more driving lanes for Ant and Jaden McDaniels. So I like that matchup a lot. I think that's where it swings the series. Is Karl Anthony Towns hitting shots, then Aaron Gordon's got to come out. Paint's a little bit more open. I like that a lot. And you can kind of take away that dunker spot we'll get more into it when we talk about the Timberwolves, but if Gobert is able to guard Jokic, now here's the thing. I've never seen anyone guard Jokic. No. We all say Anthony Davis. He did a little bit, but Jokic still scored like 30, had 20 rebounds and 15 assists. So he's going to score those points. It's can you stop him from affecting the game in other ways? And we'll find out. But I think this Nuggets team, if you're a Nuggets fan, the reason you believe is you just did it. You have the best player in the world. Jamal Murray is awesome. Their starting 5 is amazing. There's no reason to doubt your team. You just 5 games, the Lakers, and it probably should have been a sweep. So good job. Moving on to the Wolves. Now we can get a little bit more into this matchup. They had the best first-round series of anyone. They swept KD and the Suns.
Yep.
Super impressive. Now we can get a little into this Nuggets-Wolves series because if the Timberwolves are going to win the NBA title, my reason is because they beat the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
If the Timberwolves beat the Denver Nuggets, I think they're the team to beat. Like, Porzingis is hurt for the Celtics. I'm a massive Celtics fan. We'll get to that. If he's not available, that changes this series entirely. But talking about Nuggets-Wolves, it swings for me with Gobert. Like, how do you have to double Jokic? If you have to double Jokic, they will lose the series. If there's 2 on the ball, they're going to lose the series. And can Anthony Edwards, this is a fun matchup for me, is you got Ant and Jaden McDaniels, who sometimes I get them confused because they're both so good defensively that I'll be like, oh, Jaden McDaniels is picking up Beal full court. And I'm like, actually, no, that's Ant. He's doing it. It's crazy. His defense is the most impressive part of his game to me. It continues to get better and better. They got the guys. If there's a team to beat Denver, it's Minnesota, in my opinion. They have Gobert, who's DPOY candidate every single year. If you're going to one-on-one Jokic, he's the best guy in the league to do it. They got Cat, who can match up size-wise with Aaron Gordon and hopefully keep him off that dunker spot. And then you got Jaden McDaniels, who does get in foul trouble, but I love him. His defense is unreal. And Anthony Edwards, who you can rotate on Murray for a whole game. Yeah. Length and size against a team with not as much depth. And that's where I think another part of this series is going to swing. You got Naz Reid, 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
Denver's bench is weak, so hypothetically, Minnesota should outscore Denver in every game off the bench. I think it's going to be an amazing series. I don't really know who I'm leaning. I think Nuggets win the series, but it's going to be close. So
I'm leaning Minnesota.
If I wasn't such a coward, I would pick Minnesota, but I'm a coward. I think it could go 7.
I think it goes 7.
The thing that hits me after every time I analyze this series is I just don't know. We saw it with the Lakers and the Nuggets. If the game's, let's say, a 4-point game and there's 4 minutes left.
Oh, okay, so then Nuggets are winning.
Exactly. How is Anthony Edwards?
But Anthony Edwards.
Exactly. So does Ant become just superhuman and out-execute? Not even out-execute. He's just the best player on the court, so it doesn't matter. He's just going to score every time. Because I don't think the Timberwolves are going to out-execute the Nuggets when it matters the most. So they either have to be leading by a lot, or Anthony Edwards needs to take another step forward, which he continuously does, and just be the best player in the series. Because Jokic, Murray, pick and roll, end of the game, it's a bucket or a foul every time.
Anthony Edwards might have to just go big shot for big shot.
Exactly.
With Murray. And I think he can do that.
And he can. And that's another reason why I think this is going to come down to Karl-Anthony Towns, because if you're Denver, you're not going to let Ant take that shot.
He had a good series, too, against the Suns.
He did. So you have to kind of be like, hey, if Ant drives, we're going to show hands, we're going to double on the drive, and we're going to lead Jaden McDaniels or Karl-Anthony Towns open from the 3-point range, and one of them got a hit.
Yeah.
So that's where the series goes. It's Gordon, it's McDaniels, it's Towns. But I do think it's going to swing in Denver's favor. But if you're a Wolves fan, the reason you believe that the Timberwolves can win the title is because you believe Anthony Edwards will be the best player in the world, and that Gobert is going to be able to limit Jokic. This is my favorite series of the playoffs. I think this series decides who goes to the finals. It's going to be amazing. And no shade to OKC, but these two teams, I think, are the best teams in the West. All right, we can do the Celtics real quick. I think that they're going to beat their second-round matchup, whether it's the Magic or the Cavs. I'll tell you who I think is going to win there. If the Celtics win the title, it's because they're the best team in the league. They've been the best team in the league all year, and it's because of health. If they lose the title, in my opinion, it's because of Jokic. I think the only team that should beat them is Denver. I think they're better than every other team. I think Denver's better than them, marginally. I think the Celtics are more talented. I haven't seen anyone stop Denver in the last 5 minutes of a game if it's close. And if there's any worry about the Celtics in late game execution, which I don't really believe in, but some people do, I mean, Denver just never fails when it comes down to executing with the game on the line. They beat them twice this year. Denver beat the Celtics twice. They were both awesome games. It'd be a fantastic series. If the Celtics are going to win the title, it's because the evolution of Brown and Tatum's playmaking, decision-making, and defensively have reached a point where it won't come down to the last shot. They'll just be up by 5, up by 10, because they're the best team in the league and they're more talented than everybody else. And I do believe that. I do believe this team is better than everybody else. I think they should win the NBA title. I'm just worried about Porzingis. As long as he's healthy, they should win. So pray for health, and hopefully it's a Celtics-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals, and it's a lot of fun because I need that in my life. Now, here's my prediction for Cavs. You don't like that.
I don't like that. No.
Hey, I kept it nice and short. I could have gone on for a while.
Could have done a whole episode on it.
I could have done a whole episode. I kept it nice and tight. I love my Celtics. I'm super biased. Moving on to the Magic. If the Magic win the NBA title, which I don't think they will, and not a hot take there, it's because Paulo Banchero becomes unreal, which he already has been. He is Jaden McDaniels, Paulo Banchero, Lou Dort have been my three favorite players to watch this playoffs outside of the Celtics. I like guys who can defend, and I like guys who are versatile, and that's what these guys are. And Paulo is second year in the league. He's already carrying this Magic team offensively. It's crazy. How old is he? Is he 22?
I think so.
He's so young, dude. Every time someone talks about the Magic getting a player this offseason, I get so excited because Paulo deserves. He's 21 years old. He's already this good. I want the Magic to win the series because I want the Magic to play the Celtics because I love watching this Magic team.
Why else?
Because I love watching them.
Why else do you want the Magic to win the series? Oh, because you want to go to.
I want them to play each other. Yeah. I want Paulo and Tatum to match up against each other. I think it's also a really good test for the Celtics. Jonathan Isaac is one of the best defensive players in the league. He's fantastic. I don't think that they have the scoring outside of Paulo. Maybe even to beat the Cavs. We'll see. I'll do a little Cavs preview because I don't know how that series is going to swing. But I want the Magic to win. I just don't know if Franz is consistent enough, if they have the shooting to do it. It worries me. But if you're a Magic fan and you think, hey, we're going to win the NBA title this year, which I don't think this year, maybe next year, it's because Paulo once again elevates his game. It worries me, though. I want the Magic to be good. They are good, but I want them to win this series. I just don't know if they have the scoring. They're a great home team, though, so it'll go 7, but I don't know. And the Magic beat the Celtics once this year. It was the in-season tournament. Celtics beat them twice. Moving on to the Pacers. Now, this is interesting because I'm literally just going to make this a Knicks-Pacers preview because I think that's kind of the ceiling for both of these teams. I'll tell you how they're going to win the NBA title if they do, but I think the ceiling or a successful season for both of these teams is Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. That's amazing, and we'll see who wins. The Pacers, third in pace in the regular season. They play really fast. The Knicks were 30th. Kind of like they're, in my opinion, they're two exact opposite teams. If the Pacers can outrun the Knicks, make them miss, because the only way the Pacers are going to score consistently is off misses. That's how they play. They play fast. That's how they'll score consistently either way, but that's how they're going to keep the tempo up and not make it a possession-on-possession half-court offense game, because if that happens, that's the Knicks' favor. And you hope that if you're able to get them to play at that tempo, OG, Hart, and Brunson all play 45 minutes a night, man. That's a lot of running. If you're a Pacers fan, the reason you win this series, the reason you win the NBA title, is Halliburton's able to get back to that first half level. I think he had 24 assists against the Knicks in their first matchup this year. It was some sort of record. But that's when it was like all NBA Tyrese Halliburton level and depth. You have TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin revenge series. Pascal Siakam has been great for them. I'm notoriously not a Pascal Siakam fan. Most fun I've had. Ronnie hates Pascal.
Zero bag.
The most fun I've had watching Pascal Siakam any playoff run or any run of his career is this with the Pacers. I think he's such a good fit for them. He's been playing awesome. So that's the reason to believe. You got depth. You make the Knicks run. You neutralize their offensive rebounding because you're consistently playing at a high pace off misses. There's not half-court offense. I think it's going to be hard to win in the Garden, but I think then the Knicks will be able to push it to 6 or 7. The Pacers will be able to push it to 6 or 7, make it an interesting series. And I love Miles Turner. So if you're a Pacers fan, believe in Halliburton. That's the reason you win the series. That's the reason you win the title. For the Knicks, there's one reason they win the title. It's Brunson, and more Brunson. This might be one of the most beloved basketball teams I've seen from a fan base. Just the uprising of support is crazy.
It's always been there. They've just been so bad for so long.
And it's kind of beautiful. Like, New York's a good basketball market. It's awesome to see that when this team is good, that their fans are still there and rise up, and it makes me want the Knicks to be good more consistently so I can root against them. But I've said it before, this reminds me of the Isaiah Thomas Celtics run. I just think Brunson's better than IT, obviously, and better than in terms of course of his career. I don't think he's going to fall off like Isaiah Thomas did. Similar energy, they're just more talented. The Knicks just live and die by Brunson. So if you're the Pacers, you have to try to limit the people around him because there is no way you're going to stop Brunson from scoring. He's going to score 30 points a game. I just don't think you have the bodies defensively to stop him. I think the Sixers had a better chance defensively to stop him. They had more length with Batum and Oubre. They had more guys to throw at him. I don't know how you guard him. If you're the Pacers, he's going to get his. He's just that good. So I think you just have to try to slow down these Josh Hart daggers or these DiVincenzo runs or the offensive rebounds. You just have to hope you can control it. If you're the Knicks, I mean, the Pacers were the 10th worst team in rebounding in the season. The Knicks were the best offensive rebounding team in the league. That's a brutal matchup. And also maybe water finds its level a little bit. Josh Hart's shooting 44% this year from behind the arc in the playoffs. He shot 30% in the regular season. So maybe you just are able to get some regression to the mean. But I think the Knicks win this series. And if you're a Knicks fan, the reason they win the title is Brunson carries you and continues to be an MVP candidate because I got no critiques. He's been amazing. All right, last team. And this is the Cavs. Because the series isn't decided yet. I mean, they're up 3-2, so I got to give them their fair shine. I'm not a big Cavs guy. I like Darius Garland. I think he'd be a better fit on another team. I really like his upside. I just don't think he fits on this Mitchell Mobley. It's weird because when Mobley and Garland were out, was the best version of the Cavs. When they're all back, I feel like there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. Like I feel like the Cavs are the best when it's Mobley at the 5 and Mitchell running the offense. And it's like Donovan Mitchell's team. Kind of like the Utah teams. Right. Where it was like Gobert and Mitchell. I think that's when this Cavs team is their best, but they're the most talented when there's Garland, Mobley, and Allen. But the spacing is really bad when it's Allen and Mobley. There's not enough space for Garland or Mitchell, in my opinion, because there's not enough shooting on the floor. And so if you're the Cavs and you're going to win the title, you need to be able to figure out a way to have all 4 of those guys gel together, whether it's on the court at the same time or moving Mobley to the 5 and then bringing Jared Allen off the bench. I love Jared Allen. I think he'd be a great in OKC. He'd be a great fit. Yeah. Him or Nick Claxton, I wanted OKC to trade for.
Unless he's too old.
He might be. He might be just too old, but he's such a good player. I like Jared Allen a lot. So that would be my worry if I'm a Cavs fan. But if this team is going to make the NBA Finals and win the NBA Finals and wrap up the series against Orlando and then potentially beat the Celtics, they got to figure a way to get all their best players working together better. Because I feel like when Mitchell's out there, Garland's out there, Mobley's out there, and Allen's out there, it's almost like there's not enough shots to go around. People aren't in rhythm. It's not consistent enough. But Evan Mobley is unreal defensively.
Yeah.
He's so that block to win Game 5, like that's as good as you're gonna get. The length, and when he's at that 5, I just feel like the spacing is so much better for the Cavs. And you just need your shooters to start hitting shots. You need consistent outside shooting because that's the only way this Cavs team is gonna be able to win. So there's plenty of talent to buy into. If you're a Cavs fan, and maybe they're able to make a run to the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, that wraps up everything I have here. Ron, is there any team that you're really excited to watch in the second round or series?
All I know is that I would love a OKC Timberwolves Western Conference Final.
I'll give a little prediction. Stay on the episode. I think that Dallas beats the Clippers. I really want to pick Dallas over OKC. I think that's a 7-game set. I think that the Western Conference, Dallas, OKC, Denver, that's just much-watch TV. I think any of those teams could win the title easily. I think it's OKC, Denver, Western Conference Finals, and Celtics, Knicks. Eastern Conference Finals, and then Celtics, Nuggets Finals. I think it's kind of chalk. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a pretty chalk picks there, but that's what I think happens. Thank you for watching the bonus. We'll see you guys Monday for another episode of Swamp Donkey Radio. Subscribe, and goodbye.